polymorphism. So as a polymorphism, the poly means many and morphism means forms. This word comes from a Greek, okay, polymorphism, where we have one name who is having many forms. So example, if we consider one name having many forms is our addition. Okay, if I told you to perform the addition, so addition can be on a numbers, can be on a characters, or can be on an object. Yes, so I can combine multiple objects together. I can combine multiple kind of different symbols together. So as addition is having different forms. A polymorphism is a short, the ability to call different functions by using one type. Okay, so as a name is the same, operation which it performs is a different. The operations which it performs is a different. Then we can say a polymorphism. Okay, so here is an example which you understand more better. That if you see this 5 and 9, here is a 5 and 9. So this is my basic addition where plus is over plus, meaning is to perform the addition on two numbers. If we see this a plus where I concatenate the two things for the addition purpose, where I concatenate the two things as if I'm using plus operator here. Okay, so here the plus operator is performing different tasks at different place. Here I concatenate two together, like here is a square, here is a rectangle, here is a square. I concatenate these two things. Like here I can concatenate different symbols together. Here if we say this tree is an object, okay, so we can concatenate objects, we can concatenate the we can add the objects, we can add the strings, we can add the numbers. So that is a polymorphism. Okay, so if I say you polymorphism, okay, so we can see one example of polymorphism from a book diagram. Okay, so here is my, where is my whiteboard? Okay, if I show you some part of it, you can understand more better. Okay, so if we see, I have a one shape. Okay, and shape is in the shape, I can have different types of shape. Like we can have the circle, we can have the triangle, we can have the rectangle. So if we see a area function, okay, in a shape class, we are writing one function. That function name is area. That function name is area. This area function, if I am going to use this area in a circle, okay, if I am going to use this area function in a circle, the, I think the formula is pi into r square. Yes, pi into r square. Okay, so here the function parameters are only area, and I am passing the radius value, and I am performing here calculation of the area of a circle using the formula. For the triangle, if we say we have a different we can pass height and width, I think width or something. For a triangle, what is the formula, students?
Half base into height.
Height into
half
somewhere.
base into height.
Okay, half base into
into
height.
height.
Barabar? Okay. So this is a formula for the area, and next formula I can say for a rectangle height and width. Yes. So now it's correct. So if we see student this, so what we understand from this? So my area will require this r is a parameter that work as radius. Here I require base and height. Here I require height and width. So if we see this, the parameters are different and the activity it performs is also different. Like here it calculates the area of circle, here it calculates the area of triangle, here it calculates the area of rectangle. So what we understand, the function name is the same, area, but it works differently when we have the different functionality. So it is called as a one name. This area are having many forms, like we have seen. We are passing r, we are passing base and height, we are passing height and width, like this. So this example is better to understand the concept of overloading. And when I use a function to overload, then it is called as a function overloading. And here when I use a plus operator, which we have seen in example, that time it is called as operator overloading. Okay, this concept we are going to see how to create our own, how to overload operator, all these things, okay, in the coming lectures. Operator overloading, because the one name I am overload with the one form I have overloading. Okay, one name we can overload with different parameters. Like I can have the plus, I'm using on numbers, I'm using on the objects. Okay, so in our practical first assignment, which is on from the university side, that is a complex operation on complex object. That time we are using this operator overloading. And one more concept is there, function overloading. Function overloading means what? We can overload the same function names. Here we overload the same operators, the plus, minus, multiplication and divisions. These are the operators which we overload. Means one operator I'm using for string, we can use for the objects, numbers. So it is overloading. A function I told you, like area. Area I overload for the area of circle, area of triangle. If we see the draw method is also a method. If we see, it is also overloading. Like in a shape, I need a circle to draw. I need a radius to draw the circle, the height and width to draw the rectangle. Yes. So here, if we see, draw method is also one kind of a method which we can overload. Area we can overload. Some functions we can overload with the using polymorphism. So if an exam, it will be asked like examples of polymorphism is operator overloading and function overloading. Okay, so next is a dynamic binding. So dynamic binding is the concept where linking of the code associated with the procedure call. Okay, so the definition, if you understand, a dynamic binding is the process of linking of a code associated with the procedure call. I think it will be difficult to understand. I can share you something which will be helping you. So as we have seen in practicals, yes, what we have seen in practical, students, we have seen are a function definition. Yes, so first part we learn. Okay, so I can show you from Eclipse only, so it will be better. What is meant by actually function calling? So it is a static or dynamic, that I can tell you very easily. See here, if we see this example, void addition. This is my declaration. I call this function. When I call this function, student, if we see, it invokes this method. It calls this method. So this all thing happen at a compile time. So it is called as binding, also called as early binding, student. Okay, again I am going to tell you, when I call a function, at the time of a compile, so this kind of a binding is called as a static binding. This kind of a binding is called as a static binding, as well as This binding is also known for a early binding. This name is also known for a early binding. So we have two bindings. One is dynamic binding, second one is the static binding. So one more thing I can show you here. Okay, so I told you a binding is divided. So I can binding are having two forms. One is a static binding. One is a static binding and other one is a dynamic binding. Since dynamic binding is 1 minute, students, while writing it will be taking some time because we have to write using a mouse. It's a difficult one. Okay, so I told you binding is divided into static binding and a dynamic binding. Now, static binding means what? Static binding means uh, binding happens at compile time. Binding happens at compile time. Okay, and this binding is happen at runtime. This binding is happen at runtime. Okay, and if you see this, it is also called as early binding because it is happen at early stage. It is happen at compile time, so it is also known as early binding. And dynamic binding is also called as late binding. So if I wanted to write this statement, how we can write? A static binding is a kind of a binding where a procedure call bind with its definition at compile time. Here we have to change the word as a runtime. So most of the procedural oriented programming follows only the static binding, which is happening at compile time. But our OOP, that is our C++ language, our OOP added this advantage that we can have the function calling at runtime also. You can call a function at a runtime also. That is an advantage of object-oriented programming, which is not in POP language. समझता का नहीं? Please tell me. Yes or no, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So here I told you like this. Addition we are calling that time when I call this function, control goes to this logic. Okay, and when it finishes, it again come back to this next operation within the same function. Like here, if you see addition, after addition completion, it goes to the next line, then goes next line like this. So here, if we say this is a compile time, we can say how we can do the dynamic binding. Okay, in the next lectures. Now, if I read the statement, it is better to understand. Dynamic binding. Dynamic binding is the process of linking of a code associated with the procedural call. Linking of a code associated with the procedural call at a runtime. It is called as a dynamic binding. It is called as a dynamic binding. If I change this, then it is called as a compile time. Here, if I change the word as a compile time, then this is called as a static binding. Okay, this is called as a static binding. So dynamic binding is also called as a late binding. Dynamic binding is also called as a late binding. Hope you understand this. Now, message passing. A message passing is the way we can say how one object is communicating with the other objects. So they are able to communicate with each other using the functions. Using the functions, they are able to communicate. The process of invoking an operation on an object is called as a message passing. In response to the messages, the corresponding method is executed in the object. Let's see if you can understand more better. If you see this example is a message passing. Okay, so we can see one object. I told you multiple times. So one object is some having relation with the other object. There is a some relation with the other object. Like I told you, student enroll for a particular course. So there is a relationship between a student object and the course. Okay, so there is a relation, that is enroll. Student enroll for a particular course. So there is a relation. The similar way, so one object can access the other object's data. Okay, so how it can access? Using a message passing. So message passing, if you see, student object, okay, here. So faculty can check the performance. Faculty can check the performance using student object. Management can check the performance of the student as well as the faculty. Management can check the result. Management check the performance of the faculty. So this is the way the message passing works. If you say a message passing, how exactly it works? First, create an object. One minute, students. Creating a class. One minute, students. Okay, so first task is creating a class. You have to increase the font. First is create a classes that defines the objects and their behavior. Creating an object from the class. And last, establishing the communication. Okay, so three steps we need to follow. First, we have to create a class. Second, we have to create object. And third, we need to perform the communication. So how object communicate, students? Object able to communicate with each other by sending and receiving the messages. Like we are, okay, as we are passing the messages to each other. Similar way, object is able to communicate with each other. So we can go ahead with the slides. Okay, so now we have started with our programming concepts. So variable declaration. A variable, how we declare the variable? I can declare the variable means what? First you understand variable. Variable means the thing which varies, means change. Okay, so variable is the changing. So here I can have the type. First I have to write the type. First I have to write the type of variable. I have to write the type of variable and the variable name. Variable name we can write anything, but there is some kind of a naming conventions we can tell. Okay, so here I can write int is my data type. After this int, I can write the variable name like A, B, C. So these are the variables name I can have in my program. So variable defines a location in a memory that holds a value which we can modify later. Means what? Whenever I am assigning int A, it means that in a memory the location is allocated. Okay, and A is equal to something we have to write. So now students, let's check by default value for the integer, how we can check. So if I wanted to print this, students, okay, I can modify this cout and I can print a number 1. What will be the value of number 1, student? What I did now, students, number 1 is there. I have only added one line. See out number 1. What will be the value of number 1?
Nothing, it will pass garbage value.
Garbage value, okay. Any other answers? Options are null, garbage, zero, and not don't know. Kai answer. Are Nitin?
Garbage.
Garbage. Okay. So we can check null, garbage, or zero, or don't know which will be the answer. Yes, very good. It's a garbage value. Why? Because if we see this, so if always remember, students, you have your editor. Okay. If anything comes into your mind why this is so, you can write a code and check the result that time only. So it will be better. So whenever somebody asks you this kind of tricky questions, you are able to answer that very easily. If I told you, I think it's erase. So as I told you, a when I allocate integer a, like our integer number 1, okay, here instead of a we have written number 1. So here what happened, a memory is allocated, and memory is allocated, and at that place whatever the value we have, that value is able to get when I answer write this C out. When I write this C out, we are getting the garbage value because of this. Because we have declared the variable, we still not assign any value to a. That is the issue over here.
Ma'am.
So, Akshay?
Ma'am, is this memory location allocated randomly?
Yes, it is allocated randomly. It is not fixed upon us. That is randomly allocated. Okay. So always remember, in assembly language, we have to give the location where I need to put the values. So now our job is very easy. We don't have to bother about where it is stored, how we can access. We are directly using that variable name, assigning the value, accessing the values directly without knowing the location. Okay, so where I need to store, that is that kind of a trouble we don't have to take into consideration. Yes, if you want to have the access to the memory location, there is a concept of a pointers. Okay, there is a concept of a pointer with which we are able to understand where we have located that, where exactly the value is located, how to increase the pointer. Pointer is like a pointing to that memory location. Okay, that we can see later on. समजलं का अक्षय तुझा question?
Yes, ma'am.
A variable in C++ should be declared before they are used in the code block. Okay, so if we see this hash include iostream.h, yes, in this h is not a mandatory. Okay, h is not that mandatory. It indicates that it is hidden file. IO means input output. Void is returned. Here in my program I have written integer. So program can return any values. Main is my function. Yes, function can return any values. It can be void. Void means nothing. Integer I can return number. Character I can return anything. I can return that. Okay, so here I am not returning anything, so it is written void. Here it is written void. So int n is equals to 10. Here it means that we are assigning 10. Now when here a memory is allocated, 10 is assigned to it. Memory is allocated, then 10 is assigned to it. So now when I access this C out, integer value is, now this n is printed 10. The integer value is 10 answer, and the next line. So, but always remember, it is upon us what name I have to give to my variables. But always remember one thing, that I cannot start a variable name with a digit. I cannot start a variable name with a digit. Like I cannot have 0 and then number 1. It is not allowed. It is not allowed. So always remember, Variable name cannot start with a digit. Of always a first character of variable, a first character of a variable must be a letter, or it is allowed a underscore also. Okay, so always remember it should not be start with a 0, okay, or any other digits. It always been started with the alphabets, letters, underscores. Okay, other characters, yes, after our first character we can have numbers also, like a digits we can add, we can have the underscores. There is no such limitation on the length of the variable, but always remember it should be precise, a small one. Otherwise what happen, it will be having difficulty to understand. Always remember declare keywords cannot be used as a variable name. Consider cout. Cout is a variable keyword. Keyword means what? A reserved words. Okay, like I know in Hindi language I can say an example I wanted to tell you from the Hindi. मेरा, okay, mine in English, माझं मराठी, बरोबर आहे. So one thing are having different names, but according to the languages. The same thing with the programming language, students. Okay, so we have seen in Python we write a print, in C++ we write a cout, and in C language we use a printf. These are the keywords. They are having specific meanings. They are having a specific meanings in their programming. समजलं का? जसं लँग्वेज आपण बोलतोय त्याप्रमाणे आपले कीवर्ड्स आपण चेंज करतो. इंग्लिश बोललो तर आपण वेगळे वर्ड्स वापरतो. Keywords means what? Reserved words. They are having some meanings. And the variable names, like I am giving my child name something different. Like we have the students like Akshay, we have Yash. So these are the names. Those are variables. They are changing. Yes. So keywords are we can say the words, those are reserved for a particular language. So in a programming language, the term is a keywords. Those are, we can say, reserved words. So we have uppercase, lowercase are distinct. So I can say it is case sensitive language, because if I write variable a in a small letter and capital A, it is able to identify this is different, this is different. Okay, so always remember, if we write small letter a somewhere and you are accessing with the capital letters, so it will be generating the syntax error. समजलं का? Like it's an example like this. I'm writing int a. Okay, so this a is not equal to, this a is not equal to this capital A. Okay, so variable scope. A scope is the region. So we can say a region of a code. Region of a scope is the region of a program. And broadly speaking, there are three. 1 minute. Before starting a theory concept, I can share with you some logic behind this. So I can have one variable int a. So this variable, if I declare outside my main function, when I declare this outside a main function, okay, whatever the variables I declare here, okay, like I am writing here int b. So this b is local to this main function. This b is local to the main function. And this a is a global. This a is a global variable. This is called as b is a local variable and a here a is a global variable. Now we have a function. We have a function. So we know in main program we have function and we pass the value number 1, comma number 2. Okay. And when I call this function from the main, okay, when I call this function from a main, here I can have void function and I pass integer instead of number 1. I can use any name, like I can use n1 comma n2. Can it be possible, student? Can it be possible or not? Yes or no? First, yes. Second, no. Third, don't know. Fourth, all the above. What is your answer?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, very good. Yes, very good. So students, why this is so? Because it is called as a formal parameters. These are called as a formal parameters. Okay, and these are called as my actual parameters. These are called as my actual parameters. Thank you. वरती आले तुम्ही? So these are called as actual parameter. These are called as a formal parameter. Like your name is Nitin in our educational documents anywhere. But in a home, if we go in home, our family members call us with a nicknames. So we can have those names. Okay, we can have those names here. We can write that. So for actual parameters are the actual parameters values. Those we can access there. 1 minute, students. Okay, so here's these are 3 different parameters. First one, local parameter, global parameter, formal parameters. Okay, so we can have the variables. Okay, so inside a function or a block, which is called as a local variables. It is not like within a main function only. It can be on your addition function. Whenever in addition function, when I declare a sum, int sum, if you remember our practical assignment, int sum, the sum is here as a local. It works as a local to that function. So scope is, if you see this Eclipse IDE, this IDE ANS. This ANS is local. It means that the scope is limited from this curly brace to this curly brace only. So this is all as local variable. Okay, and this part, okay, within a main also, this number 1, number 2 are local. If I assign here, then it is a global. So when I assign a global value, it is accessible throughout the program. So here if you see in a function definition, in the definition of a function parameter, which is called as a formal parameters. Outside the function, which is called as a global parameters. So local variable means the parameters. So I already told you the example. I'm going to read this out you will be able to understand very easily. Parameters and the variables inside the definition of a function are called a local functions. They only exist inside the function body. Once the function returns, the variable no longer exists. The variable is no longer exists. So if you see this example, you can observe int a and b are my local variable. Okay, are my local variable. C is still not having any initialization. So here if you see a, b and c is equals to a plus b, it is like a simple addition operation. So now this a, b and c are a local variable. These three are a local variable because the scope is limited to this, from this curly brace to this curly brace. So next, global variable. So global variable means what? We can declare the variable outside of any function definition. Outside of any function definition. These variables are called as global variables. These variables are called as means what? They are declared outside of function. Any function can access these values. Any function can access these values. So if we see this example, if you see this example here, a and b are local, and g here which we return here, it is called as a global variable. So this global is like anyone is able to access, not only main, other functions which we are writing, those are able to access this g value. Now next part is a constant. How much time now it is? 41. Okay. So constant. Student, constant is means for fixed value. So we know pi. Okay. In our circle, a pi is a fixed value. So that fixed value we can write with a using constant. Constants refers to the fixed values that program may not alter. That program may not alter. So if we see this hash define. So hash define, using hash define we can use the preprocessors. Okay, like hash define I can write, or I can use the constant keyword. So we can see this example very easily. A const is the prefix to declare the constant with a specific type. Like I can mention here, hash include iostream.h, everything is okay. Now here if you see, const int length equal to 10, const width is equals to 5. Now character, constant character is for a, I'm using a hash n, the slash n for a new line. Slash n is for the new line. I can able to calculate the area using length multiply by width, and I'm getting the area, and I'm printing this new line, means I'm getting the slash n. The constant means what? These values we cannot modify within my program. I cannot assign again length equal to 5. Like if you see this, a is equals to 10, most of the times within after few lines I'm changing a is equals to 30 also, because these variable are changing. But if I assign const here, if I assign a const, this will be creating me issue. Let's see, I can show you this. Okay, I can show you here. So if I write int a equal to 10, okay, and I can have again here I'm changing a. Okay, now I'm printing cout a, cout. So okay, let's see. Build first, always remember, build a project and then run. Now if you see this a is equals to 10, a is equals to 20, now here we don't have an issue because we have not declared a constant. Now if I assign a const here before this word, so if you see the keywords are changed to the some particular colors. Okay, const int 10. Now let's see, we can run this code. See, we have one error. That error is at line number. We are not able to see the line numbers here at this position. If you see, there is an error. Error is assignment of read only variable a. So as if I assign a constant, then the value is a read only. I can't change that value. Okay, I cannot modify that value. So it is called as a constant values. So within a program, I can't modify those values. समझ Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good. Very good. So now hash define. Hash define preprocessors we have to use before the main program. Okay. So like here, instead of const, I can use those variable before the main function. So now they are working as the global variables. 1 minute, why this is happening? So here I have to declare those. If I wanted to declare those as a global variables, so I can mention them outside my main program. So this is also one way to write the variable. Those are constant. Hash define, then length. Here equal to term is not. Here we have to directly assign the value. So if you see the syntax, hash define, length, and then 10. It like same way as I am writing here, const int length equal to 10. Here I am not assigning which kind of a data type. Here I am assigning the data type. It's integer. Okay. If you see this, here hash define length 10, hash define width 5. So here we are not writing int, float or something. Okay. So is the hash define. So hash define is called as a preprocessor. Hash define is called as a preprocessor, like our hash include. Whenever there is a word hash, okay, so this hash indicates though they are a preprocessors. And they execute before our program begins. Preprocessing. Okay, they are happening before the program execution. Like we have seen hash include IOStream. This hash include. So hash include is also preprocessor. Hash define is also preprocessor. Reference variable. So now reference variable is the variable. So variable is as a label attached to the variable location memory. I told you. I have told you when I assign A is equals to 10. Like this. A is equals to 10. When I assign like this. In a memory, the location is allocated and the value is assigned 10. Okay, the variable name is a label attached to this variable location in the main memory. Reference as a second label attached to the same memory location. Okay, so access the content of variable either with the original name or the reference name. So data type, ampersand sign, reference name, and the variable name. It is like this, students. I told you. Like if it is integer a, so it is like int. Reference is my and number 1 equal to a. It means that I am assigning the variable to this reference name. Variable to this reference name. One minute, students. So I can give you example with code. It will be better. So if we see coding about this, ampersand a is the specific meaning which I can share with you. So here if you see this a, okay, a is equals to 10. I'm printing this a value. Now I am assigning int, okay, int b is equals to, here when I am assigning b, I have to write ampersand b is equals to a. Now if I print a B value, students, you can observe B value is the same as A's value. See 10 and 10, how it occurs? It's like similar. So students, A is equals to 10 and A I am assigning to the B. So it's like I have to a particular location, I have two names. For a particular location, I have two names. First name is A, second name is B. So I can tell you one example. Yes, Marathwada Mitra Mandal College of Engineering, Pune. And we can also refer it as MMCOE Pune. Both are at a particular location. Karvinagar, Hingani Home Colony. We can get the same location using MMCOE. We can get the same location using Marathwada Mitra Mandal College of Engineering, Pune. It's not leak name, I can tell you. It's we can say same area. Okay, same area. And we are giving two names to that. समझते का नहीं? Like a nickname, we can say, but any questions, students?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No question.
Sometimes now students may not able to understand this. A equal to 10 and I am assigning B equal to 20. Okay. So if I change, students, I can tell you one more thing. Okay. Is it like this? If you understand now, then it is very easy. Int B is equal to 10. So what you say, what is difference between these two? What is the difference between these two? So it is very important understanding of this two
Ma'am,
things.
here B is another memory location, and in that location, the value of A is getting stored.
Good. Very good. So here what exactly happening? B is new location, and now if I change the A's values of students, here I can modify the A's values. So you can understand. I can modify the A is equals to 30. Okay, A is equals to 30. And now after this, I'm changing this value here. A is equals to 30. And I'm printing this. See out here also B. See out here also B. Okay, so now if you understand this, A's values assigned, it is not like values assigned, it is like assigning the same memory location. Okay, if I run this code, now I have modified this A's value. I have modified this A's value. What I wanted to tell you, students, 1 minute. I have modified A value assigned to the B, then B I am printing. C I have assigned to this, and I'm printing A, changing the A. Again I wanted to print, yes. So here I'm not modifying, I'm modifying here, and I'm printing B and C again. So let's see. See students, what I wanted to tell you. Now if I say A is equals to 10. So 10 I'm getting for a B. So if you see this, why occurring like this? I have to add NL. See, now it's the first A. First A is my 10. So it is from this. So now this is my B. B's value is a 10 because I have assigned A and ampersand B. Now C is also same. If you see this, C is also same. C is equal to 10. C is equals to 10. Now I have changed this value A equal to 30. A equal to 30. So if you see this, B is also 30 now because B is referring to the same memory location. So B is also 30. But C is as it is because it is other memory location. It is other memory location. समझला का?
Ma'am, can you explain once again?
हा एक मिनिट समजतं की नाही. एक मिनिट मी तुम्हाला ह्याच्यात सांगते. प्रोग्राम पेक्षा हा समजेल लॉजिक. हा परत सांगते. ठीक आहे. A equal to 10. Very easy. So what happened exactly here? In a memory location, A is assigned with the value 10. Okay. So now I'm assigning B, ampersand B. Okay. So data type is very important to write. Int M is equals to A. Now what exactly happening when I write ampersand? It is allocated to the same memory location. It is allocated to the same memory location when I assign ampersand. Ampersand work as a reference variable. Reference name means I am referring it as a different name whenever I need to. Okay. Now it is the same thing. Now if I assign int C is equals to A. When I assign C is equals to A student, here it is not accessing the same memory location. C is here, new memory location, and the 10 is assigned to it because A is a 10 now. Okay. If I print, okay, if I print this, if I print all these values A, B, and C, then I am getting the same value 10, 10, 10. But if I change the A's values, now I am changing the A's value. A equal to 30. And now C out A, B, and C. So if you see this, you can observe one thing. That is, now I change the A's values. What happened now? A's value is modified to 30. But C's value is as it is because I'm not again assigning C to something. So what happened now? Result is A is a 30. B is accessing the same memory location. So B is also 30. And C is a 10 because C is on other location. So C is a 10. The same thing we are getting. So now it's okay? Understood or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you see this example, I have done the same way. I have done the same thing. Like I have created one variable, assign that value, print before the using and after changing. So here if you see, I assign the 30 and then print the values. Here before assigning the thing, I print the values. You can see like this. I can add here A, B, C. It is like this I wanted to share with you. This A, B, and C. Then again 30 I change, and then A, B, C. Already time is over, so we can have a break now. Okay. So see. What happened? Semicolon. See, 10, 10, 10 or 30, 30, 10. The same answer I have given you. 10, 10, 10 or 30, 30, 10. I run with this code. You can observe. ABC I print, ABC I print. Okay.